You live with noise and call it life. A peaceful mind is not someone who fixed life, it is someone who stopped interfering with reality. A restless mind is not someone with problems, it is someone who is constantly resisting what is, chasing what isn't, rewriting reality in their head. You think noise is normal because you are born into it. Mental noise, emotional noise, psychological commentary, endless interpretation. The mind narrates everything. This should not be happening. She should understand me. I should be further ahead. What if I fail? What will they think? How do I become more? And because everyone around you is equally noisy, you call this being human. But look carefully. Most human beings are not living life. They are living reactions to life. A bird sings, the wind blows, rain falls. None of them argue with existence. Only man says, this moment must be different. That sentence is the birth of suffering. A peaceful mind is not a reward given to spiritually advanced people. It is what remains when resistance ends. Peace is not created, it is uncovered, like the surface of a lake after the storm stops touching it. You believe your suffering comes from circumstances. No, circumstances trigger the suffering. Resistance sustains it. Two men lose money. One responds practically and moves forward. The other spends 6 months mentally screaming, this should not have happened. The event lasted one day. The resistance lasted 6 months. You call that thinking, but it is psychological warfare against reality. The restless mind is addicted to editing existence. It rewrites conversations after they end. It rehearses futures that never arrive. It argues with the past as though memory can be negotiated. It says, when life becomes different, then I will rest. But the mind does not want rest because without movement, it dies. Without becoming, comparison, drama, ambition, identity, the false self begins to disappear. And that terrifies people. So they remain busy. Not because life requires it, because silence exposes them. A truly peaceful person may still work, build, create, love, struggle. But inwardly, there is no war with what is happening. Rain comes, rain comes. Loss comes, loss comes. Praise comes, praise comes. There is response, but not psychological friction. The ego survives through friction. It needs an enemy, a problem, a future, a wound, a story. Without these, the ego cannot continue pretending to be you. So when I say stop interfering with reality, I do not mean become passive. I mean stop demanding that existence obey the script in your head. The tree does not suffer because it failed to become a mountain. Only humans suffer from imagined standards. And the deepest irony, the peace you seek is not somewhere ahead. It is what begins to appear the moment the internal argument with life becomes quiet. Listen, there was once a man who lived beside the ocean. Every morning, he walked to the shore carrying buckets, ropes, wooden planks, tools. And every day he tried to control the sea. When waves came too hard, he shouted at them. When the tide pulled back, he panicked. When storms arrived, he cursed the sky. He spent years building walls against the water. People passing by said, what a hardworking man. But secretly he was exhausted, not from life, from resistance. One evening, an old fisherman sat beside him quietly. The fisherman watched the man fighting the waves for hours. Then he asked, tell me, when did you decide the ocean was supposed to obey you? The man froze. Because he had no answer. The fisherman pointed toward the sea. Look carefully. The ocean has never promised calm waters. Only your mind made that agreement. The man sat there silently. For the first time in years, he stopped building walls. And something strange happened. The waves still came. The wind still blew. The tide still changed. But suffering lessened. Why? Because half his pain was never created by the ocean. It was created by the sentence, this should not be happening. That sentence was the real storm. Human beings live exactly this way. Reality moves like weather. People leave, bodies age, money comes and goes, plans collapse, opinions change. Life moves like the sea. But the mind stands on the shore screaming, no, stay exactly the way I want. And then it calls the exhaustion life. A restless mind is like a man trying to iron water flat. The more he pushes, the more ripples appear. So he pushes harder. Soon, his entire existence becomes struggle against movement itself. A peaceful mind is not someone who finally controlled the ocean. It is someone who realized the waves were never the problem. The problem was believing the sea owned him stillness. Imagine holding sand tightly in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the faster it escapes. That is how most people live with reality, controlling, forcing, resisting, gripping, and then wondering why peace disappears. But open the hand, and suddenly nothing needs to be controlled. The sand rests naturally. Life is strange this way. What you stop wrestling often stops wounding you. The tree bends with the storm and survives. The rigid branch snaps. Ego is rigidity. Peace is flexibility before reality. The noisy mind says, "This moment must change for me to be okay." The silent mind says, "This moment already is." And in that acceptance, something miraculous happens. Life stops feeling like combat. Not because pain disappeared, but because the war against existence ended. In the end, peace was never hiding in the mountains, the money, the relationship, the success, or the future. It was buried beneath resistance. The ocean was never attacking you. Life was never conspiring against you. Reality was never the enemy. The mind simply kept standing in front of waters, demanding something else. And that constant argument became noise. That noise became identity. That identity became suffering. One day, perhaps quietly, perhaps painfully, a human being becomes tired of fighting existence. Not tired physically, tired spiritually, tired of carrying inner wars against things already happening. And in that exhaustion, something sacred can occur. The hand loosens, the grip softens, the argument slows down, the waves continue, but the war ends. And suddenly, life no longer feels like something to conquer. It feels like something to move with, like wind through trees, like water through rivers, like clouds through the sky. Peace was never the absence of chaos, it was the absence of resistance to chaos.